From Bradenton, Florida, the Friendly City, and McKechnie Field, the southern home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's Spring Training Baseball 2012, and today from McKechnie Field, the Pirates welcome the Boston Red Sox. And we are moving swiftly through spring training. Greg Brown along with John Wayner, so glad you could be with us here on Root Sports. Believe it or not, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we'll be talking about opening day at PNC Park when the Pirates welcome in the Philadelphia Phillies, John.
It's going fast. You know, for the players, spring training is such a long process, but this is the time of the year they can't wait for opening day, and it'll be here in a minute.
Well, the Red Sox know who their opening day starter will be. John Lester, the left-hander who makes a start today for Bobby Valentine. He's already named him their opening day starter as we take a look at our Day Automotive matchup of the day. For the Pirates, last year's opening day starter, Kevin Correa on the hill, and he very well could make that opening day start against the Phillies.
Certainly hasn't been determined, and it looks like it could be Correa. I thought maybe Eric Bedard, the veteran. Jeff Karstens had a great year last year. I thought he might be the front runner, but Correa's been great this spring, so certainly a good candidate.
Kevin Correa has not given up a run all spring. Meanwhile, a guy who looks really good right now, Andrew McCutchen, he looks to be in mid-season form, doesn't he?
Yes, a couple of home runs the last couple of days. We saw last year the all-star type year. The home run he hit last night, by the way, I wasn't as impressed with that as I was the base hit he had to right center. If Cutchin is using the whole field, you'll see more triples. You'll see the average go way up. You'll probably see more home runs and another all-star appearance.
Well, everybody seems to be talking about Andrew McCutchen even before he signed that long-term extension, but he hasn't missed a beat. He has been absolutely tremendous. We think we're going to have a lot of fun this afternoon. We hope you'll settle down and enjoy Spring Training Baseball 2012. It's coming your way in just a moment. It's 82 degrees here. Heck, it's Pittsburgh-like weather here in Bradenton, Florida.
It's basically like we're going to start our life up again.
Every season, it's Christmas in April. Should be a national holiday. That's what I think.
Phillies and Pirates, April 5th at 12:30, presented by Burger King.
Andrew McCutchen, the monster, Pittsburgh's MVP, the boss of the roster. One swing, put your pitch and ace to bed. Little kids rocking number 22 with dreads. April 1st to September, every day we ball. When October comes, you'll have new legends of the fall. East Coast, let me hear you say, let's go Bucks. West Coast, let me hear you say, let's go Bucks. Pittsburgh, let me hear you say, let's go Bucks. Where I'm from, let's tell them
Everybody excited to watch Andrew McCutchen get it going this season as he gets ready for his third full year in the big leagues, recently signing that long-term extension. He'll be in the starting lineup in center field this afternoon. The Buccos and the Red Sox. This is game number 17 for the Pirates, with just a dozen games left here in Florida. And speaking of Florida, we said it kind of kiddingly, it's Pittsburgh-like weather, but it really has been amazing what's going on up north.
Yeah, I think it's been amazing down here. We've had 80 degrees pretty much every day we've been here. It's supposed to get to 80 in Pittsburgh today, and we can only hope that it just stays like that for a couple more weeks when we're back in town.
We're here in Bradenton. This has been the southern home of the Pirates since 1969. This cozy, venerable ballpark. Been around since 1923. Bobby Valentine hasn't been around that long, certainly a veteran skipper, and he returns to the bench this year to manage the Boston Red Sox. We check out now the Red Sox starting lineup. Familiar name there. Pedro Ciriaco, the former Pirate, leads off. Jose Iglesias will play shortstop. Kevin Youkilis bats third. Cleanup man is Adrian Gonzalez. Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate. The DH, Ryan Lavarnway. Josh Kroger is in right. Jason Repko, the center fielder, and Alex Hassan is in left.
Kevin Correa off to a good start this spring training. Pirates opening day starter a year ago. Also an all-star in 2011. Unscored upon this spring through 9 innings. You see the record last year, 12 wins, 10 of those wins coming on the road. So we could expect a huge year out of Correa if he could figure it out at PNC.
Here's the defense behind him this afternoon. You see the Pirates in their batting practice gold jersey tops. They wear all spring training. Jamaico Navarro is in left field for the Pirates today, with Andrew McCutchen in center. Then it's Jose Tabata in right. The corners, Matt Hague at third, Casey McGee at first, Josh Harrison the start at shortstop, Neil Walker at second, Michael McHenry behind the plate for Correa as Pedro Ciriaco steps in. He's having a great spring. Signed as a free agent this winter. Batting .500s. He takes a strike. A dozen hits and 24 at-bats for Pedro Ciriaco.
Starling Marte-like numbers.
Pops this ball up. Wind always a factor. The sky. McCutchen takes control, no problem. 16-mile-per-hour winds gusting to 22.
Always a factor down here in Florida. The sun, the wind. Times scores are inflated due to the wind. I don't think the ball's going to carry too much to right field, but should jump to left.
Jose Iglesias starting at shortstop. And right up the middle. Correa gives up the hit. So far, that's just the fourth hit this spring in 9 1/3 innings allowed.
Iglesias from Cuba. Not much of an offensive threat. Defensive specialist, the young man. In the minor leagues last year. Didn't do a whole lot with the bat. Picking up a knock today.
Now Kevin Youkilis takes ball one from Correa. Youkilis last year hit .258 with 17 homers, drove in 80. Batting .200 this spring. Bobby Valentine didn't bring all of his starters up from Fort Myers. Pitch up and in. That's where the Red Sox train. Hour and 45-minute drive or so down south of here in Bradenton. 2-0 the count on Youkilis with Iglesias at first and one out. Kevin Correa, last year's opening day starter, delivers a strike. He was signed as a free agent before last season, a 2-year deal. 31 years old, San Diego native. Pitched a couple of years with the Padres. Before that, the Giants. Check swing. And the second baseman, Walker. Iglesias to second, 2 outs.
Excuse me swing from Euclid. You don't see that a whole lot. You usually see the patient swings, takes a lot of pitches. And Correa has some deception, some late movement. And by the time Euclid picked up speed, location, couldn't hold up.
Adrian Gonzalez. 27 homers last year, his first season in Boston, the former Padre. A couple of former teammates battling it out here. Ball 1. His spring training numbers there. Gonzalez, 338 during the regular season last year. And to shallow right. That's exactly where the Pirates had Neil Walker playing. His throw off the mark. A long throw for a second baseman, but play made by Casey McGee. Half inning down. Red Sox nothing. The Buccos. By Toyota. Jose Tabata leads off. Josh Harrison will bat second with Andrew McCutchen hitting third. Then Casey McGee in the cleanup spot. Neil Walker follows him. Matt Hague at third. Jamaico Navarro in left with Michael McHenry catching and Kevin Correa on the mound and batting against John Lester.
They'll have their work cut out against what I think is perhaps one of the most underrated pitchers in all of baseball. You think of the Red Sox and their starting rotation. You think of Daisuke, you think of Beckett.
Look out. Tabata fouls that one back our way.
And Lester, 4 straight years with 15 or more wins, 4 straight years with ERAs under 3.5. He gets righties out, he gets lefties out. Overpowering at times. Strikeout guy. League hit just 234 against him a year ago.
So he will start their opener April the 5th against the Tigers. 1-2 the count on Tabata. Hoping to put a healthy, strong season together. Injuries cut his 2011 campaign short. Played just 91 games. Hit .266 with 4 homers and 21 runs batted in. Seven hits and 28 at-bats this spring. Alex Presley has been leading off quite a bit. 3-2.
Nice to see Jose pick up a couple of knocks last night against the Yankees in Tampa.
Headed toward the shortstop, Iglesias. Ground out on the 3-2 pitch. We saw Iglesias at short, the rest of the defenders. Pedro Siriaco at second. Euclid and Gonzalez the corners. In the outfield, Hassan, Repko, and Kroger. Saltalamacchia catches Lester. Adrian Gonzalez, certainly noted for his bat, but outstanding defensively. Quite a pickup for the Bo Sox before last year. Josh Harrison tries to get a bunt down.
Harrison's been swinging the bat great this spring. Saw that the whole right side of the infield was way back. All he had to do was get it past the left-handed pitcher Lester, and probably would have picked up another base hit.
Nine for 16 at the plate, and he was one of the stories coming into spring training. Maybe not headline stuff, but trying to win a job. And you have to believe, John, that he's done nothing to discourage Clint Hurdle and the Pirates, to think that, well, not only can he do it offensively, we called him kind of like a spark plug last year, but could he handle things at short, an occasional inning or two, even out in the outfield?
Yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job at shortstop. He's proven last year he could play third, play some second base. Haven't seen him in the outfield yet this spring, but I've seen him at short, and he's handled the routine plays, made a couple spectacular plays as well, but he's hit everything. Even his outs are hard. Last night he just got one at bat, got a pitch out away from him and crushed it to right field up in Tampa, but the wind was howling in. It just kind of stopped it, looked routine. And Andrew picked one up into the jet stream, not that it needed any help.
Solidly hit toward right center field, and there's another hit for Josh Harrison.
For me, he's a lock. It'd be a huge surprise if Josh Harrison doesn't make this ball club. And again, a fastball out away from him. And watch the hands get inside. The head stays still. A little slippage coming out of the batter's box, but wasn't going anywhere past first.
Just shows you he was going hard out of the box. That's all that shows you.
All the time.
So nothing completely settled in terms of this roster. No question about center field. This guy will anchor that position for quite some time. Andrew McCutchen. See the spring numbers, 11 hits and 27 at bats. First round pick of the Pirates in 2005. Now 25 years old.
And Andrew still relatively young. Saw him struggle really for the first time in a Pirate uniform the second half last year. And I really believe if he starts using the whole field, we're going to see Andrew winning an MVP award or two. I think it's just a matter of time as he matures, gets more comfortable. We've seen him. He must have had a handful of home runs to the right of center field last year. Has the power to leave the yard the other way. I just think he needs to do it a little more consistently.
There goes Harrison. Saltalamacchia, a one-hopper, but Harrison overslides the bag, and Pedro Siriaco stayed with it. Caught stealing.
Well, the one thing I don't like about sliding head first, and you see this all too often, and I don't think you get there any quicker going head first. You get there just as quickly going feet first. And as you saw there, Harrison would have beaten the throw easily anyhow going feet first, but this early in the ball game too, usually they just wet down the dirt, so it's usually tacky. You don't usually see the guys hydroplane past the blade, past the base early in the ball game. They usually stick.
In this case, sliding Niger Morgan-like over the bag. Here's Casey McGee. His first spring with the Pirates. Traded from the Brewers this winter for Jose Veras. The times that we have seen McGee at first base, and we have not seen every game, certainly have seen most of them, either here at McKechnie or on the road, John, you and I, even when we're not working.
Of course.
But we have to like what he's done defensively over at first base. He looks okay over there.
I think it's so much easier for a third baseman to move over to first as opposed to a first baseman moving to third.
So the opposite of what Matt Hague is going through.
And that's why you see it. You know, as far as the front office, Neil Huntington's eyes, Clint Hurdle's eyes, Nick Leiva's eyes, you know, they got to see who can handle what. They want to make sure Casey McGee's comfortable over at first. They already know he could play third. Matt Hague needs as many reps as possible over there at third base, so that's why he's getting the look there today. And that's the same case with Josh Harrison at short. The more you see him, the more opportunities he gets defensively, the more comfortable Clint Hurdle will be in using him at shortstop. Same with Navarro out in left field. Can he be a substitution late in the outfield?
By the way, we will talk with Neil Huntington in the booth in the bottom of the third inning. As he and Clint Hurdle, coaching staff, front office, still needing to make some decisions. They reassigned 4 players today to minor league camp. There goes McCutchen. And a safe call there as he goes feet first.
Huge jump, getting a good read off the left-hander Lester, and he's pretty deliberate to the plate. It gives you a little more time. And once again, a Pirates base stealer easily beating the throw from the catcher, Salty.
Andrew McCutchen's first stolen base attempt of the spring is successful. 3-2 on Casey McGee. 6 hits and 26 at bats. 231 hitter, no homers, 5 RBIs this spring. There goes McCutchen for third. And that is something that Clint Hurdle has talked a lot about to his players, that they didn't attempt this enough last year.
And you're not going to see it too much with 2 outs, if at all. You know, they're not even going to defend it. Euclid stayed home there at third base. It's a situation where they're figuring that McCutchen's going to score from second on a base hit anyhow, but it's something they're going to work more and more on this spring training, get guys more comfortable getting jumps from second base.
And why not, John, if you think you can pick up a bag and you're 90 feet away?
The only problem is working on it here, you know, with 2 outs in this situation. You know, not really working on anything because nobody's holding you on, nobody's paying any attention to you, so it is pretty much a free bag. I guess the only negative is, does it distract the hitter, McGee, because he sees that, obviously. He sees McCutchen taking off.
In the dirt, ball 4. So it's first and second for Neil Walker.
Well, here's a little different story. You got 2 outs. You got first and second. If you can get Casey McGee to follow you, and they're going to give you the bag at third base early in the count, you can take a shot, try to get 2 runners into scoring position.
Walker will bat from the right side. 7 for 25 this spring. Hitting mostly cleanup. Missed a handful of games with a strained back, but returned without a hitch. He's hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. And 6 of his 7 hits this spring have come over his last 15 ABs. Strike on Neil Walker. Matt Hague on deck.
And Neil did such a great job last year in these situations, runners in scoring position, Picked up his first RBI of the spring last night.
0-2 on Walker, who said one of his priorities this spring was going to be to try to get as many right-handed at-bats as he could. Hit cleanup a lot last year. On his way to driving in 83 runs with a dozen homers. And a ball and 2 strikes on him.
You can see the power numbers going up. When he gets a hold of a ball, he has as much power as anybody. I mean, he's hit some bombs last year, but just more of a line drive, gap-to-gap type hitter. Doesn't create a whole lot of backswing or backspin in his swing.
Caught looking. 2 men left. We played 1. 0-0. Bucks and Sox.
Barrel.com. Definitely worth the click. By your Toyota dealer, where quality, dependability, and good MPG all come standard. Toyota, moving forward. And by Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
On to the second at McKechnie in Bradenton. 0-0 through 1. Kevin Correa faces switch hitting catcher Jared Saltalamacchia. And strike 1.
Watching Correa, it's especially watching on the TV screen. It's really hard to tell a lot of times what he's throwing. Everything's about the same velocity. There's not a whole lot of movement. You don't see any big break. But he has a way of adding and subtracting. Cuts it a little bit, sinks it a little bit. A little slider, a little hard change, kind of like a split change. It hovers around the mid-80s.
He had such a great first half, Kevin Correa, and then really a forgettable second half. Finally shut down most of the last 2 months of the season, but went to the All-Star game. Finished 12-11, 4.79 ERA. And as John said, the curious numbers at home.
Bizarre.
2-8, a 7.71 ERA at PNC Park, a pitcher-friendly yard. Ball hit hard the other way. Line it off the wall and left. Jamaica Navarro will get the ball in. Saltalamacchia doubles off the wall and left.
Big strong guy gets a little help from the wind blowing out that way. That elevated pitch away. It's such a huge difference if you get the ball around the knee on the outside part of the corner, or thigh high, belt high. The ball that's up is so much closer to a batter, much easier to handle, and a nice piece of hitting. Not trying to pull it.
Well, Saltalamacchia, the starting catcher today, doubles, and now another catcher in camp, and one of their top prospects, Ryan Lavarnway, DHing today. Hitting .474 this spring. Lavarnway takes ball one.
Have to assume that he's pretty bright. A Yale product.
Pretty bright and some power. Combined last year to hit 32 homers, AA and AAA minor league system. Also appeared in 17 games with Boston. Enough catching at the top of their system that Michael McHenry became available. And the Pirates made that trade last summer for the Fort. 2-1. McHenry figures to be the backup to Rod Barajas. Although, when you talk Barajas, I almost don't want to say backup. It's like they're going to split a lot of time. You don't think you get 100 games maybe out of Barajas.
Well, hopefully you'll get at least that. I mean, hopefully he's healthy and he can catch 100, 110 games. But you would think McHenry will get a lot of action.
Now, regardless, the backup is going to get a lot of playing time. McHenry didn't see it initially, and had he would have had a shot at it. Michael McHenry was mic'd up earlier this spring during pop-up drills. Let's listen to the Fort.
Okay, no problem. I like it.
Oh, I didn't know he was wearing a mic.
I was dancing, I had to see it. Yeah, what? It's not a good start, boys. It's not a good start. I got. I was right there. I was all over that ball. I was all over the ball. I was feeling. Come on, team. Beat it, nerds. It's going this way. Hey, Stritty, it's in my gloves.
Michael McHenry having some fun with his teammates and Coach Mark Strittmatter. A lot of energy there. That's line to right after the fly ball to left. Another wave to the plate. And it's 1-0 Boston. Josh Kroger singles home Jared Saltalamacchia.
Kroger trying to impress. His teammate Lavarnway wasn't able to move the runner up to third. No need. Gets a pitch out over the plate. Gets that barrel out front. Hard hit. No chance for right fielder Tabata.
Kroger hitting just 172 this spring. Brings home the first run of the ball game, and here's Jason Repko.
Yeah, that pop-up drill, McHenry, so hard. For one, they're using the machine, so it has a totally different spin than what the catchers are used to. And whether people realize it or not, when there's a pop-up behind home plate, the ball is going to come back towards you. You always have to stay behind it because the spin of the ball brings the ball back towards fair ground. You'll see balls sometimes could be 5-10 rows out of play, and the backspin will bring it back into play. When they do that drill with that machine, you don't have the same spin. It's the opposite spin a lot of times, and so that's why you see them going just hard to get under. And you see Michael McHenry had some issues with that particular drill, and they use that machine sometimes for outfield priorities, infield priorities, drills they do down here early in camp. And with those drills, too, it's just not the same spin as you get off of a batted ball live off a bat. And, but it's useful here. You can throw, that machine can throw that thing so high in the air, and you got the sun. They purposefully at times hit them or run them pop-ups into the sun, and to get the outfielders or the infielders to learn to use their glasses or to shade the sun or to get around the sun. But there's so many of these drills that you don't see the behind the scenes that take place, mostly over at Pirate City. Make sure that the guys have the priorities right. Center fielder priority over left and right. Outfielders all have priority over the infielders. The shortstop priority over everybody. Second baseman priority over the first baseman. Corners priority over the pitcher and catcher.
So there's a rhyme and reason. There's a pecking order.
Sure. And yeah, it's serious work, and they take it seriously. Most of the drills that go on, and all the balls should be caught. The catching, though, it's so much different. It's so much more difficult than when you do in the outfield, infield priority drills. But you can have fun with it.
Grounded to third, handled there by Hague. Throw to second. With the man at second base, it was kind of methodical there on Hague's part. Got the out at second.
Yeah, and that's something you talk about the speed of the game. You hear that all the time about guys getting called up, the speed of the game and how quickly you get that ball. You should be in a position to throw it as you catch it. You know, an experienced third baseman would have had that ball out to Neil Walker much quicker. And Walker turns it as well as anybody. But again, if Hague was more experienced, the ball would have got out of his hand a lot quicker. Neil Walker would have had a little more room to get rid of it and probably would have turned it.
I suppose, speaking of priorities, priority one for Hague is to make the play, right?
Exactly. Get the out.
Yeah, get the out. He's his bat will take care of the rest.
Right. I mean, at the big league level, though, you expect that to be a double play, 90+% of the time.
And now McHenry not able to get the ball out of his glove. Wanted to get a throw down there and take a shot at Repko. Stolen base.
Every now and again. Just don't get the exchange glove to hand, and perhaps Michael McHenry just didn't get the grip right away. A lot of that too. It depends on where you catch it. Certain catchers try to catch the ball in the exact same part of the glove every time, and that's true for infielders as well. And so your hand's used to going in the same spot. If you don't catch it in that spot, it's sometimes hard to get a handle.
Runner breaks for third. Pirates let him go there. Strike is called.
And with one strike, the batter opts not to swing, figuring he allows Repko to get into third. The Pirates aren't going to open up any holes with two outs by having Hague vacate his position.
Check swing, chopper, and handled by McGee over at first base. Josh Kroger, base hit to right field, scored Jared Saltalamacchia for the game's first run. Barrel Automotive League leaders in terms of batting average this spring. Grapefruit League play. Pirates are 4th behind the Blue Jays, Phillies, and Cardinals. Red Sox are 5th in batting. Teams that play in Florida play in the Grapefruit League. And Greg Ritchie, hitting coach of the Bucks.
And that number was about, I think, 291 going into the weekend's action.
Big Matt Hague pops this ball up out of play behind the first base dugout. And, well, you're still in camp, and there have been some significant cuts over the past several days. It means the club is looking really closely at you. 39 active players in camp. They've got to get down to 25 men by opening day. And with Pedro Alvarez really struggling at the plate, people are wondering whether Hague might make this club. And he drops that into right field for a hit. The hit collector, as Clint Hurdle calls him.
And most of the balls he's hit have been right on the barrel. That one off the handle a little bit. But when you have a hitter like Matt Hague, who has a really simple approach, a really nice swing, the bat stays in the hitting zone a long time. When you have good mechanics, even when you get beat, you're in a strong position, which allows those type of hits. You know, if he was out in front or top hand hooking, it's a weak grounder to third. But because he stays inside it and because he has a good path to the baseball, he'll get a fair share.
So his approach at the plate allows him to have some of those maybe soft pop-ups that drop in for hits. As Jamaico Navarro takes a strike. What's really interesting is the Pirates have said this almost from the beginning, that Hague has a definite shot at making the club, maybe not as a starter, but as a reserve player. And that I find interesting because most times clubs in general, and the Pirates specifically, don't like to have a prospect or a young player sit on the bench much of the season. They like him to go down and get at bats on a regular basis down in the minor leagues. But I think they believe, John, that Hague's approach, as you say, is so good, so strong, he could have some value even off the bench.
Sure, an asset. I'm sure you'd try to get him at bats. He's not used to not playing regularly since he's signed. He was an everyday guy, very durable. He's collected hits at every level.
Last year for Hague was AAA Indy, where he led the International League in hits, 165 of them. Hague, a 9th-round pick of the Pirates in 2008 out of the University of Washington. He just keeps getting stronger as folks have seen him come up through the Pirates minor league system. A couple of years ago at Altoona. Broken bat, foul out of play.
And a guy that doesn't walk a ton, but he doesn't strike out a ton. Puts bat on the ball with just 68 strikeouts last year at 534 at bats. You add the plate appearances, it's closer to 600 plate appearances. And, you know, for me, just my opinion, he's a long shot to make the club. Certainly if Pedro is the opening day third baseman, you know, I think it would be hard to keep Hague.
Navarro, who was traded from the Royals over the offseason to the Pirates for a couple of minor leaguers and is on the 40-man roster. Hitting .276 this spring, 8 out of 29. He was with the Red Sox and Royals last season. The Red Sox traded him to Kansas City during the year. 24-year-old native of the Dominican. Four RBIs this spring. And getting the start today in left field. Rolling this to right and just under the glove of Adrian Gonzalez, but there is Pedro Siriaco on to Lester. Pirates Charities invites runners and Pirates fans of all ages to the Pittsburgh Pirates 5K home run on Saturday, April 21st. The race tours the North Shore and finishes right on the field at PNC Park. Prizes will be awarded to the top runners. plus the best dressed Pirates fan. All proceeds benefit Pirates charities. To register for the 5K home run, visit pirates.com/5K home run. Hague at second, and here is Michael McHenry, 2 out of 12 this spring. Now those are official Grapefruit League statistics, just 12 at bats, but they'll get more ABs going over and playing in some B games, maybe some minor league games. McHenry had a handful the other day down in over at Pirate City against Twins minor leaguers.
Sometimes they'll have camp games where it's the Pirate minor leaguers and playing against one another. And go over there and get at bat an inning.
McHenry, 58 games with the Pirates last season, hit .222. Red Sox picked him up from the Colorado Rockies March of last year. A deal for a minor league pitcher. Former 7th rounder of the Rockies. Matt Hague at second base with one away in the second.
I hope, Mac, like you mentioned a moment ago, if he's getting 50, 60 starts, you certainly want to see him pick it up a little bit offensively. Typically, you see a lot of cases where backup catchers pretty much just for defensive purposes. You don't expect as much with a bat in their hand.
And pop up to shallow right, and that drops in. Kroger keeps it in front of him, and it's first and third.
Read for Matt Hague. Not sure. The wind's blowing in. Not sure if it's going to get out to the right fielder Kroger. So he kind of held up halfway between second and third. I hear a couple of third base coaches in the crowd yelling at him to come on, come on. He wanted to make sure it landed safely before he gave himself up.
So McHenry with a base hit puts runners at the corners, and it's Kevin Correa. Takes pitch outside. You've been following the Bucks during spring training the last couple of years. You know that Clint Hurdle likes to have his pitchers bat in games early. First handful of games in Grapefruit League play, Hurdle went with the DH, but almost since about the 5th game this spring, he's gone exclusively with the pitchers batting, the starters. Correa was 4 out of 46 at the plate last year, 8 sacrifice bunts.
You'd like some kind of production from your pitching staff. Staff as a whole really struggled with a bat in their hands. I thought they did an admirable job as far as sacrificing, but didn't put a whole lot of balls in play. And that was a bit of a chore in and of itself, just making contact, making the opposition make a play, or making the pitcher throw more pitches.
There's a change up there to Adrian Gonzalez in the dirt. Pickoff try, 2-0 the count on McHenry. On Correa with McHenry at first and Hague at third. John Lester. And now Correa showing bunt and pulls back to take a strike. Now what does Clint Hurdle have in store as he relays the signs here to Nick Leyva, third base coach?
A lot of times this situation is a bunt situation for a pitcher. You don't want him to hit into an inning-ending double play. He was taking all the way the 2-0 pitch despite showing bunt, but didn't show bunt the first 2 pitches.
Showing it again. And bunts it. And now breaking for the plate is Hague, and he is out. Saltalamakia looked toward first, then saw Hague breaking for the plate and nabs him.
Trying to be a little sneaky was Matt Hague. He knows the third baseman's charging, so there's nobody covering the bag at third, so he can come down as far as the third baseman. So as he comes down, he's about halfway between third and home. He thought the catcher Saltalamakia was going to throw it. If he would have thrown it, he would have scored easily. But with the catcher pump faking, Hague just couldn't get around him. It's a good play. If he throws the ball to first, he's safe easily.
Most of that play by Hague was outstanding, right?
Yeah, but it was just a better play by Saltalamakia. I never understood why more teams didn't try to steal a run here. He can come all the way down, halfway, follow the third baseman. You know, if Saltalamakia would have held on to the ball and looked at him, nobody's at the bag, so he could have went back. You have bases loaded. The only problem was he didn't throw it. If he throws it, we score a run.
There's a chopper, shortstop, 6-4 on the force. Bucks leave a couple. Through 2 innings in McKechnie Field, it is 1-0 Red Sox.
Pirates are down to the Boston Red Sox 1-0. In our AGH injury update for the day, A.J. Burnett took the mound again earlier this morning. It was his second side session since returning from an eye injury. He threw 52 pitches, including a simulated inning break. He said the first few pitches felt like what he called one-legged tables, but definitely felt better than his last couple outings. Guys, I asked Michael McHenry what he saw, and he said he looked great. It was a side session. Next up, though, is a simulated game on Friday.
All right, Lacey, thanks so much. A.J. Burnett signed, traded over from the New York Yankees middle of February, and bunted that ball up. Fractured his orbital bone March the 1st, and the Pirates, I think, John, they're being really, really smart to do that. Just right up front say he's going to be out 2 to 3 months. Be real conservative with it. This ball hit sharply foul by Siriaco, but I think a lot of people also expected, unless there were some setbacks, he would be back closer rather than later.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, how you're going to react, how your eye's going to react. I mean, anytime I think you have surgery on your eye, it's significant. So,
ball popped up on the right side. McGee, the first baseman, will retire Siriaco. So A.J. Burnett was asked how he felt today.
A lot better today. That was another reason why I got the extra bullpen in. I could have went to live BP, but I felt like I wasn't ready. You know, the eye's fine, but strength feels good, just timing and you know, mechanics and things like that. So today was definitely a big step. It's a lot better than previous two.
That's sounding good.
Very optimistic. That's it stinks though that you kind of start all over. You know, you do all the things in the off season to get ready, and you know, obviously a couple weeks into camp, he went through the sides and the BP sessions, but to have to start from scratch has to be a bit frustrating.
Abundant foul by Iglesias. Ray Searage, Pirates pitching coach, will chat with him later in the game. Get his take on this whole thing. Pitching staff, I know he's excited about his starters and really excited about the relievers he has in camp. Check swing, foul ball. Talk to him in the 6th inning. Live, Ray Searage. Next inning, bottom half of this frame, in fact, we'll talk to Pirates GM Neil Huntington. Fly ball to center, McCutchen for the 2nd out. The batter will be Kevin Youkilis. Kevin Correa gave up his first Grapefruit League run last inning. Still has been excellent. He was the opening day starter last year against the Chicago Cubs. Won a 6-3 decision at Wrigley Field. One ball, one strike.
Youkilis with that odd batting stance. It's hard to understand what that right hand is doing. You see so many different batting stances. Righties, lefties, doesn't matter. Some guys have their hands out away from them. Some have them over their head. Some high, low. But usually when that front foot hits the ground, they're about in the same spot, the hands.
Bounce to Hague. A little test here for Matt Hague. Got the job done. We'll talk to Neil Huntington, the Pirates general manager, when we come back here at McKechnie Field in Bradenton, Florida. Red Sox have a 1-0 lead. We are back, 1-0 Red Sox here at McKechnie Field. Josh Harrison leads off for the Bucks. Joined by the general manager, Neil Huntington. Neil, we've been talking the first couple innings about guys like Josh Harrison, decisions that still have to be made, and a fun time for fans. I imagine difficult times for you and for Clint Hurdle.
Well, you're always looking for guys to take huge steps forward and to jump in and take jobs and not give them up. And we've had some guys take some steps forward. We've had some guys just kind of mill around. And last week or so, camp will be interesting. A couple bench jobs open, a lot of jobs to compete for in the bullpen. And overall, it's been a good spring so far.
Josh Harrison takes a strike. Is it too early to say guys like Harrison have locked it up?
You know, Josh has swung the bat really well. He's battled almost every single at bat. He's given us a quality at bat. His strike zone command and discipline is better than it's been, and he swung the bat very well. There we go again.
On cue. Lines it sharply down the line and left.
How about shortstop?
It's been hit or miss, Rock. He's had some nice plays out there. He's looked comfortable at times. He's had some other times where the game sped up on him a little bit and shows his inexperience. Mechanically, fundamentally, he's got the makings to be able to stay there. It's just a matter of how comfortable is Clint going to be, how comfortable are we going to be to run him out there when Clint Barmas needs a day off. And we're getting there. We're getting there. There's definitely signs that it can work. Is it going to work opening day? And is that our best configuration of our club?
There's Andrew McCutcheon with Casey McGee on deck. So fair to say there's still a couple of position spots open?
Yeah, basically the middle utility, and then what do we do with that 13th position player? Is it a bat? Is it a defender? Is it a pinch runner? Good to see Andrew show that weapon. It's amazing. When he shows that weapon, you get advanced scouts in the stands are going to write down that he showed a drag bunt, and they're going to put that on the first 3 reports, the first 4 reports, draws that third baseman in, draws the first baseman in, and it opens up a lot of ground ball hits for him, which he will roll over a ball. But it's also a weapon for him, so it's going to add hits to his batting total this year if he'll just use that and show it occasionally.
Well, what an interesting point that is, Neil, especially this time of year with all the advanced scouts getting ready for the start of the regular season. They're going to report back to their respective clubs, and as you say, when the Pirates see them, at least for the first time, first go around or so, bring that third baseman in.
Absolutely. I've been one of those guys in the stands, and you see a guy show a drag bunt. You can tell the difference between show for show's sake and show for purpose, and right there he obviously tried to get one down, and he's going to get himself a half dozen, maybe 10 hits this year between a bunt and then balls that he rolls over and beats the third baseman because he's in more. But our bench spots, the last spot, heads up. The last spot does. Rock, you're a veteran. You didn't even move right there. Brownie and I are ducking for cover. You're standing right up there. Man alive, that's a veteran. That's good baseball.
I'd like to say it. I'd like to say it's smart on our part, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
How quickly you got under the desk.
Let me climb back.
You want to take a look behind you. That's why I duck.
But the last spot, we've got a handful of guys in that competition. Some of the guys that we brought in, Fox, Evans, some of the guys internally. Matt Hague just continues to work the magic with the bat. We call him the hit collector, and he did it again today. He dumps one in a right field, but he's given us a lot of quality at bats this spring. Can he handle third base in a part-time role? And then obviously Michael Navarro has done a nice job with the bat as well. And our scouts are continuing to be out there. Are there guys that are out of options other places, guys that are out of favor other places, and how do they help us both on the mound or as a position player? And we'll continue to get after it and see how we best fill out this roster.
In terms of Navarro, we've seen him in right and today in left. Are you comfortable with him as well, not only in the outfield but in the middle position, short and second? I mean, does he probably have an edge or around what you expect as far as Josh Harrison in the middle?
You know what? He's worked hard. They've done some things with him mechanically in the middle of the diamond recently. More at second. He's naturally a shortstop. He's comfortable at third. Second base, he hasn't spent a ton of time there. So, if you start looking at a bench of Navarro and Harrison to go with McLouth and the alternate between Jones and McGee, and then our backup catcher, probably McHenry at this point in time, there's some versatility. Clint can do some different things. He can hit, he can run, he can play defense, he can bounce some guys around the field. So it gives you some middle versatility. We don't think we need a ton behind Barmas and Walker, so it may not have to go with 2 guys that can play the middle of the field off the bench. So, again, is it bad? It's whatever we think, whatever Clint thinks he needs to help win a game, and the versatility and the flexibility, but that bat is also an important piece.
Will we at some point in time also see Harrison move to the outfield?
Right now, we've got enough work with him to do at shortstop. He's taken balls in the outfield last year in AAA. Even in the big leagues, he would take a group in the outfield occasionally. So he's been out there. He's somewhat comfortable there. We're really trying to narrow his focus to shortstop at this point in time, because that's going to be a key piece for him. Making our club, he makes our bench better. If we can't do that and we've got to go get a pure defender at shortstop, then Josh goes right back into that mix to make the club as that 13th position player.
Back to the Hague situation, it's rather unusual, not just for the Pirates, but for most clubs, that they would potentially keep a guy on the big league team who is considered maybe a prospect, as McCutchen will bring home the tying run, line single to left, rather than going back down to play every day. But you're not conceding that.
No, we're not conceding that. It's great to see Andrew swinging the bat and comfortable and staying within himself. He's had a very good spring that way, and excited to see what kind of season he can have. But, Brownie, even with Harrison, with Navarro, with Hague, we may have a situation with 3 younger guys on the bench that maybe are a little bit ahead of the time in terms of being ready to go to a bench. And that's where Clint does a great job of keeping guys engaged. He does a great job of keeping guys sharp, keeping our starters rested. And the better bench he has, the more comfortable he's going to be in doing that. We may have a situation where we've got to run some guys in and out. Because a guy hasn't gotten some playing time for 2 to 3 weeks, we may have to send him to AAA and bring up another versatile piece. And that's where, as we look at our AAA club this year, assuming no DLs, that we could have 14 guys, 14 of the 15 option players could be on that AAA roster. And so we should have some depth, some flexibility. We should have some guys that we can call up to give ourselves some continued development, because we don't want to forget about Josh Harrison or Yamaiko Navarro or Matt Hague's development if they make the club. But at the same time, we're trying to win some games here at the major league level.
Not sure if you were hoping for a quick inning or not, but I'm glad that it's a long inning, because you're going to get asked about Pedro.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and you know what? That's why I try to come up here when we hit, so that if it's a short inning, it's not the end of the world. But if it's a long inning, then it's a fun inning.
Yeah.
If we're up here and it's a long inning when we're pitching, that's not
right.
Fun for anybody involved. You're going to sense the tone in my voice shifting pretty quickly too. But you know what? Pedro's done some good things this spring, and the questions are inevitable. And as he goes into his 4th full season as a professional, we're looking for him to take a step forward. He came into camp in very good shape, probably as good a shape as he's come into spring training since he's been a Pirate. He's driven some balls out to left field. He's driven some balls out to center field in games, and he's peppered the left center field wall in batting practice and a couple B games. Defensively, he's moving better. In the game so far, we had the tough stretch where he punched out 4 times in 4 at-bats over 2 games. Got outside himself, started to fall back into some old bad habits, but he's fighting through it. If he's successful, that's going to be a big piece of our success. If he's not successful, we've built ourselves some depth and some options, and we've got to make sure we put him in the right spot. But we also have to make sure we give him a chance to be successful. But if not, we've built some depth behind him to protect ourselves.
I've heard rumblings, maybe over the internet and such, that there's a chance that Alvarez would start the year in the minors. Is that likely?
I'm not quite sure where those get started. People are free to speculate however they want to speculate, and that's certainly not coming from within our conversations. At this point in time, we're seeing the signs that we need to see. We're not going to guarantee him a job. As we said at the end of season last year, we're going to go build ourselves a contingency plan. But if he did what he needed to in the offseason, and he's in the right process of doing that, and our hope is that we don't get to a point in time where we have to make a decision on him. But again, if he's successful this year, that's going to be a big piece of our success. If not, again, we've got Casey McGee. We've got some alternatives that we've built in that we feel comfortable with. But we're going to give him every chance in the world. And a lot of people want to make this a do-or-die situation for him. Again, it's his 4th full season of professional baseball. It's his 2nd that he could be a major leaguer for the majority of the season. It's awfully early to start writing anybody off, let alone somebody with this kind of talent. We think he's going to come out and have a nice year.
He's made some adjustments to his swing. He has the toe tap. It's a little exaggerated, plus a little adjustment with his hands. He's not as wrapped. His bat's a little more perpendicular to the ground. That's a lot of timing for not having consistent at-bats, daily basis. He's not picking up 3 or 4 at-bats. You got to think, especially with his early spring struggles, does he get over to Pirate City? Does he get 8-10 at-bats in a day?
That's right where we're headed, Rock. In order to get him a lot of at-bats as we get into the final couple weeks, he's going to go over there and he's going to lead off an inning 6, 7, 8 times. We'll get him a ton of at-bats, get him some consistent work, and try to get that timing down. And Clinton and Pedro talked about it today, and we'll put it in motion.
I've talked to Clinton a little bit and Greg Ritchie a little bit. They like the changes. in terms of what he's done. But there is, with the struggles last year, adding timing as far as there's more things that have to be on time to hit major league caliber pitching, and so you can see the difference in BP and the ball jumping off the bat. But I guess more reps hopefully will lead to more confidence.
Yeah, no question, Rock. The toe tap, he's still working with the timing on it. Sometimes it's way too early. The danger is we don't ever want it to be too late, but sometimes it is way too early, and it becomes almost a two-part swing for him. Man, that pitch just missed. But he's getting there. He's chased some, but he's also laid off, and he's drawn a couple of good walks where it seems like he's really seeing the baseball. We've got to get him aggressive. Hit his pitch early in the count. Understand that they're going to spin it on him. They're going to change speeds on him when they're ahead in the count, and to make sure that he hits mistakes and makes the pitchers throw strikes. And if he does that, he's going to be a successful major league hitter. And he's not the only guy. He's not the only guy that's got to make the pitchers throw strikes that they can't chase. And he's working on it. But to your point, the timing, the consistency, and then more than anything else, going to compete when he goes to home plate. He can't worry about where his mechanics are, where his hands are. He's got to go up and compete. He's got to understand what that pitcher is going to try to do to him. He's got to control the strike zone. He's got to hit his pitch. He's got to hit the pitch where it is pitched. He's got to have a sensible plan. We go through some times where we have hitters going up and they're just looking for fastballs. They're hunting fastballs, and it's a non-fastball pitcher and a non-fastball count, and we swing as if we're waiting for a fastball. We've got to get beyond that. And Pedro will do that at times where he'll hunt a pitch that there's no chance that it's coming, and that's just a matter of maturity, and he's intelligent. He's going to figure it out. He's going to work some things out.
Well, that's one heck of an at-bat there from Casey McGee. Thank you, Casey. Let us get to a couple more questions there for Neil Huntington. Ripped it in the left. I assume, and we discussed this a moment ago, that you'd like what McGee's done at first base. First and third base, Brownie. Casey came in. He's leaner than he was a year ago. He's given us a good, solid quality at bat. For most of the spring. We love that he'll bat it. He'll take his walk. He's going to put a ball in play. His strikeout rate is below where we've been in the past, which is a good thing for us. He's going to battle and put a ball in play. But defensively at third base, he's actually moved very well. He's made some plays that a year ago he didn't make, 2 years ago he didn't make. And he's moving well, and his transition to first base has gone as well as we could have expected. And had the tough play today that he came in and got the short hop on, and he's looked comfortable out there. Again, another good addition to our clubhouse. He's fit in. He brings energy and brings a guy that's been some places we're trying to go to. A.J. Burnett was out throwing today and says things are really progressing nicely. Fingers crossed that this could be sooner rather than later that he returns. Yeah, we put out the 3-stage return to pitch progression. Each one of them had a short window and a long window, and if we were on the long window, walk with a nice hit here. Andrew McCutcheon will score, and now caught between second and third, McGee. RBI hit for Walker, 2-1 Pirates. But in AJ's case, we had the short window and the long window, and from the recovery from the surgery, he was on the short end of the window, so that moves the reconditioning phase back to the shorter end, and that's an encouraging sign. Threw an all-pitch bullpen today, and it felt very, very good. He's on schedule to throw a live batting practice on Saturday. And where we go from there, if he feels good, do we go into a sim game? Do we go into a game? If he doesn't feel as good, do we repeat the live batting practice? So really each step builds off each other. But as we've gone through the day-to-day with AJ, I mean, he's worked hard. He's hungry. He wants to get back. He's fighting to get back, and he's doing everything he can do. It's just a matter of how quickly we can get him built back up to 100 pitches. Again, the week to 10 days, 2 weeks that he missed for the surgery, that's the biggest part of it. Then we've got to recondition, and people are wondering, why is it taking so long? Well, we had to get him through spring training, and that's a 4-week process no matter what we do.
Pleased with the pitching so far?
Yeah, we've had some guys that have thrown strikes, have attacked the zone. Jeff Carstens has thrown the ball well. Kevin has thrown the ball well. He's used his pitches. He's mixed and matched and kept guys off balance. Mac's been hot and cold. Charlie's getting healthy. The line score down in Minnesota, down in Fort Myers the other day was ugly, but it was a lot of ground balls. We didn't handle the baseball behind him. A bloop double. And then Minnesota does a great job of moving a runner, getting a runner in, and getting a runner in on back-to-back hitters with Maurer and Morneau, and they ended up putting up a 5 spot. But it really wasn't nearly anything that it looks like on a piece of paper. It's a couple bloops, couple bleeders, couple misplays, and then really good situational hitting by the Twins, and they put up 5. So he's making progress. We'll see where we go with Charlie, but overall pleased. Joel's obviously throwing the ball well out of the bullpen. We've had a handful of guys throw the ball well out of the bullpen, and we've got another handful that are in competition for those final couple spots. So we've got some choices. We've got some options, and we used way too many players last year, and we're hoping not to use that many players this year. And is that going to go?
Look at this big Matt Hague. Boy, oh boy, he is something to watch.
You know, it's our guys in the minor leagues and our development staff called him the hit collector. His first inning hit where he battles and battles and battles, and somehow he gets a barrel to the ball and it finds the outfield grass for a base hit. But he's showing the ability to do that more and more. He finds a count, he lets a bat head go, and the raw power's in there. And this is just a great swing by Matt, and obviously a well-hit home run.
Picture perfect mechanically. Yeah, we were talking about it with the blue pit. You know, the bat stays in the zone, and you're more likely when you stay through the ball, stay inside the ball, to get the blue pits to right field. And when everything's on time and you get extension, you hit it out of the ballpark. And you know, it's been all his outs have been hard. It's been all spring training long.
Absolutely. I mean, right there, Rock, you nail it on the head. The barrel is in the zone a long time, and he's just out front of a breaking ball, so he hits it out of the ballpark to left center field. If it's a fastball, he stays on it. He's true on it, and he's going to drive it to the middle of the diamond. And then, as your point, he can muscle a ball over the second baseman's head or drop one in the right field.
Take another look here. The home run by Matt Hague.
Yeah, everything's real simple. Not much of a stride. You see the hands start to swing. The head stays still. The balance is just about perfect. And like I said, didn't get all of it, but still strong enough to get it out over the left center wall.
It's his third home run of the spring. And as you evaluate players, here we are talking again about you trying to figure things out in the month of March and how difficult that is. But all these things you're taking into account, just what you and John are talking about. So, and it's John Lester here. It's not a single A pitcher.
Absolutely, and it's process oriented. Rock broke the swing down, and how does that swing play in a part-time role at the major league level? How does it play off the bench? How does his intelligence that he brings to the at bat, his ability to, again, coming back to commanding the strike zone? How does that play? How does the process play? It's great to see results, and it's great to see Matt show more home run power than maybe he did in AAA last year. Although don't get fooled by our AAA numbers sometimes. That ballpark plays huge, and it is a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. And if you hit some home runs in that ballpark, you're doing something legitimate, because it's a great ballpark. It's a wonderful city, but Indianapolis is a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, and sometimes our offensive numbers get built down because of it. Our pitching numbers get built up because of it. But Matt had a very solid, very legitimate year there last year. He's carrying it forward in a camp, but we can't get caught up in the results. We've got to focus on the process. And Matt's had a very nice process, and the results have been there.
3-1 now on McHenry as the Pirates now lead at 4-1. With Kevin Correa on deck, looking to go 5. Almost hesitate to ask a question here of Neil with 2 outs. A 3-1 count, but the way the Pirates are hitting. 3-2. Just that decision regarding 4 or 5 starters at the beginning of the year. You don't have to make that decision for a while yet.
No, we don't. We've still got some time. And is Charlie ready to go? If not, what do we do? How do we fill that extra spot? We need a 5th starter on the 14th. It's the first time we need 5 starters. We want to put Charlie in a position to be successful, and that's the priority, is putting him in a position to be successful. You can argue I rushed James McDonald back last year. He was healthy. He was stretched out. But he didn't have his spring training. We want to make sure we put Charlie in a position to be successful. Yet at the same time, we don't want to hold him back, but we certainly don't want to rush him. And we still got some time to make that decision. He can pitch in an A game up until the 29th and still be eligible to pitch in a major league game. Come off the disabled list to pitch for us on the 14th if that's the direction we decide to go.
Neil, thanks so much.
Guys,
great
I appreciate
stuff
it.
As always.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.
All right.
Pirates General Manager Neil Huntington. The Buccos lead at 4-1 against the Boston Red Sox in Bradenton. Pirates' spring theme is to finish what they start, and this year they want a full season of strong ball. Learn how they will carry out this theme and more about the upcoming season on a new Inside Pirates Baseball 2012 season preview, March 29th at 6 here on Root Sports. 4-1 Bucks, Matt Hague helps the Bucks to this 4-1 lead. Thanks to Neil Huntington. Now we're joined by the president of PNC Bank Pittsburgh, Cy Holzer, who's down scouting this whole situation out. I know you like what you see of this club, Cy.
Well, actually, I've come here because Steve Blass isn't here today, and he told me to watch out for you, John, and make sure I watch for walks. So I'm more here for the announcers than I am.
Well, that's not good if you're here for the announcers. And by the way, I know you've heard about what happened to Steve Blass.
Yes, why don't you tell him? I hear he's on the injury reserve for a little bit.
We're going to call him Stingray Steve. He was actually stung by a stingray on the beach over. That'll teach him to stay out of the water on the beach on Anna Maria Island. But he all went well. They actually had the barb removed surgically out of the foot yesterday, but. Only Steve Blass could this happen to.
Only Steve Blass, and here's Root TV. They're new. We're together now, and he's not here to help us.
Adrian Gonzalez at the plate, and this hit the other way. Going to be a tough play, and Navarro will have to play it off the wall. An opposite field double for Adrian Gonzalez. But what do you like so far this spring?
Well,
anything in particular?
First of all, you really have to love Clint. What he has done, there's this magic. I was lucky I was in the locker room, and you can just feel it. He just seems to bring this passion, this excitement, and you just love to watch him because he loves baseball, and he loves these kids that are playing kids or men. And he also just loves the fact that it's baseball time. So I don't want to overstate it, but I think we're so lucky to have him in town.
Well, I think you can get a couple of guys here who fully agree with you on that respect because you could just tell right away last year, Cy. John and I discussed this often about the change in the atmosphere in that clubhouse, starting with Hurdle. That ball is crushed. Oh, Jared Saltalamacchia, a mammoth home run to right field.
Into the pond. He is a huge catcher. I mean, he takes up the entire plate. That is one big man.
You said you like Clint Hurdle. You know what I like? I can walk across the street now and go to my bank.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. They're everywhere. They're popping up all over the place in Bradenton, right?
We just integrated the RBC, the RBC domestic, the Canadian Bank Freight Bank, and we bought their domestic operation. So we're going to be a lot more in this region and all the way over to the West Coast, and we're going to cover Florida really well, plus North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia. So it's a great win for PNC.
And now Ryan Lavarnway, a fly ball to right center, and Tabata.
You also have to love the additions that were made in the offseason. You look at the strengthening of shortstop, strengthening of the catcher position. I think those two are really great, and I'll tell you, McCutcheon looks like he is in mid-season form.
Sure does.
Boy, he's swinging it well.
So you're talking about the shortstop position, and John was talking to someone earlier this afternoon about what one specific area he likes the most, and he agrees with you. Clint Barmas is a big upgrade, not to take anything away from Ronnie Cedeno, but the fact is he is going to be an upgrade.
Well, you're not allowed to say it. I am. It's a big upgrade.
Okay, good.
I'm allowed to say it. I don't have to worry
yes,
you two worry. But I'm telling you, we're a big upgrade at shortstop just by addition. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I think, Cy, I think you'll agree with this. Having watched Barmas play a little bit in the National League and here in spring training, he's going to be a guy that Pittsburgh is going to love.
You just can tell, and there are a couple of guys that you just have to love. You have to love our backup catcher. I mean, fans just love that guy. And then we have Harrison, who I'm just telling you, I've watched him. He doesn't walk much, and I can see why. He's so aggressive at the plate. He's so exciting. So I mean, these are guys that you can just tell they're energized. And one of my favorite guys, I like him, is Neil Walker. I think he's so excited about it. He's ready to go. So we get a little bit of pitching. Which is what you have to worry about a little bit. And we're not worry, but you have to think if we can get the pitching, this team has a good chance.
I like to think that if the Pirates can hold their heads above water, that line shot to left by Jason Repko with 2 outs. Just hang in there for a couple of weeks. if A.J. Burnett comes back and you're hanging in there, all of a sudden it's like Neil Huntington made the trade in the early part of the season.
Sure. Well, I saw A.J. in the locker room, and he looks absolutely, for that surgery, which is a tough surgery, he looks really ready to go. He said he's working out and he's pitching and he's doing the things, getting ready to get back in the rotation. So that's a big sign.
A.J. Burnett there on your screen watching his new team, the Pirates, taking on the Red Sox. The Pirates leading it 4-3. Alex Hassan at the plate. The man on and 2 outs, talking to the president of PNC Bank Pittsburgh, Cy Holzer.
Just a short trip for you, huh? Not spending too much time.
No. I'm my boss clocked me out here. I got to go back. And,
you poor guy, got to go back to that Pittsburgh weather.
I'm telling you, the Pittsburgh weather today here is in the 80s.
How about that?
We don't want to talk about Pittsburgh weather. It has been one of the greatest winters of all time.
Well, we joked about at the outset of this telecast that Bradenton is getting Pittsburgh-like weather.
I'm telling you that it's not as good here as it is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's been just a fabulous winter, and there's so many great things going on in Pittsburgh right now. We're actually going to open up the tunnel. Opens up on March 25th. The tunnel that's been so controversial that opens up, so you have a lot of people able to get back and forth to the ballpark.
We'll be ready opening day 2 weeks from tomorrow. Opening day, Cy, at PNC Park. Ball 2 strikes on Alex Hassan. Well, we're expecting great things from the Pirates this year. I think that, Cy, you having been around in Pittsburgh for so long, saw what you and others have talked about for so long. You put a winning product, a good product on that field.
Right.
Look what Pittsburghers will do. They'll come out and support you.
I don't think people realize this was a baseball town at one time, and people went to baseball games. And you got to give the Steelers a lot of credit, because when Dan Rooney took over, he built a winner there. And when you think about how lucky we are, we have the Steelers, we have the Pirates, we have the Penguins. University of Pittsburgh had a little bit of an off year, but Jamie Dixon's one of the great coaches in the country. We really are blessed. Plus, what people don't realize is many people go to a cultural event as all the sports combined. We always forget about the cultural part. But we have an incredible cultural community in Pittsburgh, and there's no better bargain than Pittsburgh.
Not only the great sports teams, but the great arenas and ballparks and stadiums.
All of that news. And, of course, PNC Bank and Cy Holzer.
Hey, thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Appreciate it very much.
Give us a good report back.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you.
The easiest way to make sure you get tickets to all of your favorite matchups and promotional games is with a Pirates 10-game ticket plan. You choose from 3 pre-selected plans that includes all of the biggest games. Enjoy the year-long benefits of a 10-game plan, including early access to PNC Park, ticket exchange privileges, bonus games, and lots more. To get your 10-game plan, call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS or visit pirates.com. A 10-game plan. Make your plans. Make your way out to PNC Park. Our thanks to Cy Holzer, thanks to Neil Huntington, and a bit later on, we'll talk live with Ray Searage, Pirates pitching coach. Bucks up by 1 as Kevin Correa faces the new pitcher. There he is, Junichi Tazawa. And Kevin Correa rips it down the left field line.
Everybody hitting this afternoon. Knocked John Lester around a little bit. Just a fastball, pretty much down, inner third of the plate. Handsy swing. Look at Kevin Correa. I know he was disappointed last year having that down year with the bat. He considers himself an above-average athlete, a little embarrassed by the lack of success with a bat in his hand, but happy with his swing right there.
Leads off with a double. And here's Jose Tabata. Take a look now at Tazawa's numbers. Did last season. Bobby Valentine has many decisions to make. The rotation not settled. The bullpen. Last night, their game against Toronto, Andrew Miller, the lefty, went down. A hamstring injury inside to Tabata, who has grounded out twice. From Yokohama, Japan. Signed as an international free agent December of 08. He's popped up and playable perhaps in right. Siriaco is called off by Kroger.
That's a case where the wind, I think, kept that in play. It looked like off the bat it was going to slice into the stands. Tabata 0 for 3, trying to join the hit parade.
With Correa at second, 1 of 9 hits, Tazawa will now face Josh Harrison. Shinichi Tazawa. Media on hand covering him. He appeared in 3 games last year with Boston. Pitched 8 games at AA Portland and 8 games at AAA Pawtucket. After a Tommy John surgery, making his way back. As is Daisuke Matsuzaka, trying to make his way back, and he should return sometime early this season for Boston. Right back up the middle, and Kevin Correa is caught between second and third. Josh Harrison overslides again.
Again, feet first.
Yep.
Didn't head first the last time.
How about that play?
Wow.
Correa stays in a rundown long enough for Harrison, but Harrison overslides second. Andrew McCutchen having a fine spring, a walk today, and an RBI single. Rock, tell us what you see of Andrew McCutchen this spring.
Pedro Alvarez has made a little mechanical adjustment. So has Andrew. You can see right there on the right, a little open with his stance. Last year, that front foot, he pretty much just picked it up and put it down. And as you see there, a little bit closed was Andrew McCutchen. Not as closed on the right with that open stance. He strides a little more towards the plate, but he does it to stay square. The feet, when they land, are square. The upper body, he gets a little turn with his upper body, which at times makes it more difficult to use the whole field to stay inside the ball. Perhaps why you see so many rollovers like he did last year. His struggles the second half, a little too much top hand. That little adjustment, like I said, helps him stay a little more square. I think it's going to help him use the whole field, stay inside the ball, drive more balls into the gap the other way.
Pedro Siriaco facing Correa, bunted in the air. Oh, what a play by Correa. My word.
They're just talking about how he thinks of himself as a better athlete than he showed last year with a bat. This is an athletic play. He had to do everything perfectly. He had to use the bare hand, he had to throw off balance, and he had to make a perfect throw, because you see here, Siriaco a half a step from a bunt base hit. Cat-like quick. Correa. Throw right on the money.
I'll bring up Jose Iglesias. He has singled and flied to center. Bounces this ball. Nicely done by McGee. Correa hoping to finish off 5 innings of work today.
Correa moving around a little bit here early on in this
A little
inning.
bit winded with what he did on the base pass and following the double.
McGee playing in, guarding against the bunt. And Correa's going to try to get out of some of that post-game running.
See if he can't finish off Euclid and have his second 1-2-3 inning.
And Correa, I mean, even the base running, he did everything he was supposed to do there. He tried to stay in that rundown long enough to get Josh Harrison in the second base. And it would have worked if Josh Harrison could have stopped a couple of times, going over the bag and getting tagged out.
Two and one on Euclid. Has grounded out twice today. And up the middle. Two-out single for Kevin Euclid. Trying to have a healthy campaign. Trying to lead the Red Sox back to postseason play. They thought they were headed there, didn't they? After a tough start to the 2011 campaign, they caught fire, only to have a dreadful month of September and one of the all-time worst collapses in baseball history. Finishing on that phenomenal September 29th day, some people are calling the greatest day in baseball history.
Yeah, it certainly was a lot of fun, and well, not for the Boston Red Sox, but for us watching.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting to see what they do this year. On paper, they don't look nearly as strong as they did a year ago.
Adrian Gonzalez drives one toward the wall. McCutchen can't handle it, so we'll tie it up. There was a double for Gonzalez. Ball kept carrying it. Breeze blowing out that way and over the head of the Pirates center fielder.
And just has so much strength going the other way, too. We saw it when he was in San Diego at that big Petco Park. Here he did get a little help from the wind. Andrew kind of feeling his way out there, and you could tell worried about running into that wall. Things going well for Gonzalez. Is that ball, I don't think he got all of it, but got it up into the jet stream. No help from the wind for Saltalamacchia last time up.
Bounce to first. Casey McGee handles that one. First base unassisted. A couple of nice defensive plays before the single and the double, the bunt, and the nice play by the pitcher, Kevin Correa. And then he covers first. A nice play by the first baseman. Pirates and Sox are tied at 4. Now the Penguins look to tame the Predators when they play host to Nashville at Consol Energy Center. It's a great day for hockey tomorrow at 6:30 right here on Root Sports. Andrew McCutchen leads off 4-all. McCutchen walked in the first, stole second, singled in a run and scored in the third. Now with a dozen hits in 28 spring training at bats. He'll be out in center. Alex Presley in left. Jose Tabata in right most nights. Garrett Jones is trotting out toward the clubhouse, leaving the dugout. He and Casey McGee figure to split time over at first base.
Some heavy feet.
Yes.
From Garrett Jones. You can hear him crunching by the crowd, Mike.
And Garrett Jones, or by the bullpen there, as Joel Hanrahan loosens up. Jones hitting .286 this spring. Alex Presley batting .343. And we heard Neil Huntington, John, during the interview last inning, not necessarily come out and say Alvarez is a lock to make the club, but I think really trying to put to rest the idea that Alvarez isn't going to make the team. And there have been some rumblings about that. So,
yeah, I mean, it would have to be an absolute 100% collapse.
Like in the next 2 weeks, he'd have to look just
the next 10 days or so.
Horrible.
And like Neil said, they'll really start pushing at bats on them as far as getting them over to Pirate City. You can get a large number over a couple of days.
Ball hit hard at the third baseman. Euclid makes that play. Here's Pedro Alvarez, batting 148 this spring, 4 out of 27. A couple of homers, a walk, 11 strikeouts. When Neil Huntington pointed to a couple of back-to-back really tough games that you try to put that off to the side and you really look through the numbers.
Even last night, for instance, hit 2 balls right on the button against a pretty good pitcher, Michael Pineda. Hit a bullet at Teixeira on a high fastball.
McGee to center. Repko puts it away.
And he hit a deep fly ball his last at bat in Tampa, straightaway center field that would have been over the Green Monster here. I believe it. It was crushed, but the wind was blowing straight in and blowing in hard. And so obviously it looks like an 0 for 3, but as far as the evaluation process down here, Clint Hurdle, Greg Ritchie, Neil Huntington had 2 positive at bats.
Neil Walker has struck out and singled. Now batting left-handed against the righty, Tazawa. Walker with 8 hits in 27 spring at bats.
Did I say Green Monster, by the way? Might have offended some Boston Red Sox fans. I meant the green batter's eye in straightaway center. Did you make it to Fort Myers?
I did.
Like
impressive. Yep.
Very nice.
Miniature Fenway Park.
I was a little disappointed I didn't make that trip. Had another commitment.
Oh, well. You get down there. You get some time between now and the end of the spring.
Out.
2-2 the count on Neil Walker. Adrian Gonzalez and the Red Sox will open up their season against the Tigers April the 5th. They might not have to worry about Miguel Cabrera. Took one to the face playing third base the other day, and looks as though he might miss perhaps opening day. Strike 3 call. The Bucks go down 1-2-3 for the first time this afternoon. Joel Hanrahan going to get some spring work in. Coming up next, 4-4. Spring is in the air. Catch the 2012 Pirates live from spring training as the Buccos take on the Houston Astros Saturday at 12:30 right here on Root Sports. Next telecast, Bucks and Stros. Kissimmee, Florida, near Orlando. Joel Hanrahan after Kevin Correa went his 5 innings.
And Joel's looked good this spring. Been going right at guys with that fastball, working on that slider that he used so much a couple of years ago, which led to 100 strikeouts out of the bullpen.
Last pitched 4 days ago against the Tampa Bay Rays. He gave up a run. I was asking you, and I were working, in fact, the radio game, and there was a runner at third base, nobody out, and I was asking you why getting that slider back was so important, and you pointed out, well, situations just like this, he's going to need a strikeout on some occasions, and he could use one right now. Well, he ended up striking out the next 3 batters. Unfortunately, also uncorked a wild pitch, so the run scored.
And, I think he enjoyed pitching the contact last year. When you're throwing 97, 98, the contact is so soft, weak ground balls around the infield that he didn't go to it as much. And I think that was important for him, too, because I thought there were times 2 years ago he used the slider too often and got away from his fastball in certain situations. But certainly can't argue with the success that Joel's had. He's just been dominant.
Lavarnway has flied out twice. This will drop in for a hit. So Hanrahan gives up the hit to Lavarnway. Now faces Josh Kroger. Just saw Ray Searage there. We'll talk to the Pirates pitching coach at the bottom of this inning. And he said the one thing that he really likes from the get-go from all of his pitchers, the relievers, the fact that they know their only job, every one of them, is to get the ball to Joel. Doesn't matter what inning, doesn't matter who's on base, doesn't matter how long they go, how many pitchers they use following the starter, but each man's job in that bullpen is to get the ball to Joel.
And I think they've done a pretty good job of that last year. The bullpen certainly a strength for the 2011 Pirates.
Bunted right toward third. Hague.
Again, the inexperience of Matt Hague at third base. And that's a thing that's evaluated. Sure, he caught the ball, he got the out on the sacrifice, but if it's a bunt situation and they're bunting it towards you at third, you got to get the out at second base. And Matt Hague, if he's had more reps at third, would have just instinctively, he just would have turned and fired it at second base and would have got the runner Lavarnway very easily. But just making the play. We've seen him get a couple opportunities. He's made the play, but could have done a little more.
Jason Repko 1 for 2. Repko last year played 67 games for the Minnesota Twins, hit .226. Joel Hanrahan, 40 saves last season, an all-star, finished with a 1.83 ERA. Remember last spring training, the early portion of it, the questions for Clint Hurdle involved the closer situation, and who would be his closer? Was it going to be Hanrahan or Evan Meek? Well, fairly early in camp, Hurdle made the decision, announced it was Hanrahan. And the Hammer took it and ran with it. Evan Meek we expect to see next inning. continue to look at the makeup of the bullpen. Who is going to get the ball to Hanrahan? You have to assume that Chris Reesop and Jason Grilly pretty much locks. Is Evan Meek a lock?
Still building up arm strength. Haven't seen the velocity that we're accustomed to. Meek was throwing 96, 7 miles an hour. Kind of been in the low 90s. Well, that's what the report suggests. Not many radar guns in these spring training ballparks, but the big thing is Evans healthy, letting it go, and got the movement on his cutter. He's thrown some good breaking balls. Just looking to ramp it up a bit, velocity-wise.
And Hanrahan walks Repko. It looks like Lars Anderson will pinch hit for Alex Hassan. Two on, one out in the sixth. Tied at 4. Second walk for Hanrahan this spring. His 5th Grapefruit League outing. He has struck out 9. One away, 2 on for Boston.
This is a tough assignment here for Lars. Getting a pinch hit at bat against big league closer with Joel Stuff. Overpowering fastball. Hard darting slider. Lars with a little bit of an unusual swing. Hands go down, they come up, they go back down, they come back up. It's a lot of movement to try to catch up to 95 plus on the gun. See it here, he starts him down almost by his belt. And then as he loads him up, he comes up, he goes back down, he comes back up. And you just don't have enough time. I mean, you got to get all that out of the way early to catch up to that overpowering fastball.
Here's Pedro Siriaco. He's flied out, popped up, and was retired by Kevin Correa when he tried to bunt his way on, leading off the 5th. Siriaco just 23 games played for the Pirates the last year. Hit .303 and 31 games combined last 2 years with the Buccos at .333. And now he's in the hole 0-2.
That's what plus velocity does for you, and that's why you might be watching and say, how can you swing at that pitch? It's so far out of the strike zone. It's so low. But when you're overpowering, you have to start to swing early. Some guessing gets involved. And that's what Pedro did there. He was guessing fastball, got it started early. By the time he recognized spin, it was too late.
Gets a piece of it. Pirates had acquired Siriaco from the Diamondbacks a couple of years ago. He spent a lot of last year on the big league roster, but not much playing time. And he also had a lot of travel miles in between Pittsburgh and Indy last couple of years.
Okay, go.
Ball blocked by McHenry. 1-2 the count.
That's almost second nature anymore. We don't have to go with the Fort stuff.
Yep.
It's just
pretty much a lock.
It's a lock. He's going to keep it in front. He did it so often and so effortlessly last year. He almost always had to make mention of the Fort.
Pitchers do love pitching to him.
Sure.
Hanrahan getting an inning of work in as we head toward the home stretch of spring training. We mentioned at the outset, hard to believe, but 2 weeks from tomorrow, opening day at PNC Park against the Philadelphia Phillies. Shortstop in, Harrison quickly, but McGee drops it. And now they've got the runner caught between second and third. How about that? And Walker will now throw toward the plate. And Lavarnway will be tagged out. Big base running blunder there. Saves McGee and the Bucks. Ray Searage will be our guest coming up next. Tied at 4. Welcome back to McKechnie Field in Bradenton. 4-4. Pirates Red Sox going to the bottom of the 6th inning. And as promised, we're joined by pitching coach Ray Searage. As we're talking, Ray, earlier today and really throughout much of spring about how much you like what you see, not only from the starters, but certainly the relievers as well, and still some tough decisions to be made.
Yeah, most definitely. They know it too, and everybody's laying it out all on the line out there, and they're being very aggressive, and that's what I want to see. You know, first pitch strikes, being aggressive with your fastball, and being able to read hitter swings in early spring training.
Well, Ray, live TV, here's your chance. You know, we know you know who's the opening day starter.
I was going to give that a few minutes there, Ray, but Rob just jumps right in.
No, you're not ambushing, man. No way, man. That's up to the skip. He's going to do that. Nice try, though.
Well, yeah.
You got to be pretty happy with the way the starters have thrown. I mean, Charlie the other day got roughed up numbers-wise, but threw pretty good. I thought Bedard was good last night in Tampa, but didn't have a whole lot of help defensively. And despite a couple of walks, he looked like he was pretty sharp.
Yeah, we're going to go through some hiccups, especially in certain areas. But right now, what I saw out of Bedard last night, that especially the second inning, I mean, he sliced and diced that batting order. It was pretty good, and all he needs to do is just get his stamina going and get him stretched out a little bit more, and all his pitches will come, because when he's out there on the mound, there's like no sense of urgency. It's really nice, calm, cool, collected, and he goes pitch by pitch.
Nice play in center field by Repko, robbing Matt Hague of a hit. Brings up Jamaico Navarro.
Any concerns, Ray? I mean, you look at your rotation, how it sets up. The guys taking their turns, for the most part, have been effective. Any concerns halfway through camp?
No, not really. Just looking at their stuff, we're basically counter-punching right now. We're starting to reinvent ourselves with certain pitches that we have added in the repertoire. Gosh, that's a good word. Now people think I'm smart. woo! And they're doing a pretty good job of it. You know, like Resop has already incorporated a changeup that he seldom used last year, and this year he's been throwing it and with good results. And then we've got Kevin Correa, who's coming inside with fastballs more often. Also Charlie with a four-seamer that's coming in the left-handers, and they still have that cutter that can complement that pitch. So there are a lot of good things happening. We're not fully completed yet that way, but they're working. We've got a good idea. We've got a good plan, and it's a process, and we've got to take it, one outing, one sideline at a time.
Ray, what was your message to your pitchers at the very outset of spring training? What did you want to drill into them, and have you seen it?
Being aggressive, like we don't back down for anybody. We're going right after you, and I want them to just, they have to have this presence out on the mound that they believe in themselves, and if anything happens, they're not going to back down. They're still going to come right after you, and we're going to protect our teammates, and we're going to pitch inside. And you look at our schedule, we're going to, we got Philadelphia at home, and then we got L.A., San Francisco, and Arizona. Well, heck, fellas, let's go right into the Lions' den. Jeez, stop it. Let's go. I mean, this is the best time of the year. Let's do it, and then we could really create an identity for ourselves.
So they've taken your message to heart so far.
So far. They might be, talking behind my back. Oh,
that's all right.
Old bald black guy. Yeah, he's blind. He can't see nothing. Don't worry about it. But no, they've worked very hard. Their attitude and effort out on the field and during their practices have been outstanding, and especially with their conditioning too. It's been ramped up, and we've got to look forward, and everything that we're doing right now is going to pay off in the long run, because I really believe that hard work and good things come to those who work hard.
Ray, with 15 days to opening day, and you mentioned guys working on certain things, whether it's J-Max changeup or Correa pitching inside, or whatever mechanical tweaks there may be. When do you start kind of moving beyond that and just concentrating on executing pitches?
X's and O's.
Yes.
Yeah, we're started. We just started that yesterday, and we're starting to turn the page on that now. They should have a pretty good idea on what they need to do, their key points, and it's funny that you asked that, because I had a conversation with Bedard about it, also with Kevin, and Charlie and I talked about it today. That we're beyond that now, and we're going. About how to set up hitters, how to get hitters out, and reading swings on that way. So it's funny you asked that. We just started that a couple days ago.
So you just go back to as far as adjustments or mechanics or tweaks or working on certain things, that's done on the side.
Yeah, those are, what I call them is keys, and they have to have 1, 2, maybe 3 keys that they've got to really focus on when they're doing their sidelines. And if they get out of sync out there on the mound, that they got 1 or 2 that they could fall right back in the rhythm with.
Ray, we're at 2 outs here. Hopefully McHenry extends the inning. But is there a guy or two, a pitcher or 2 or 3, that were pleasant surprises either at the start of camp, still are, and may not even be with the team right now? Some guys that really you've got on your radar.
Well, definitely one is Kyle McPherson. He's going to be an upcoming force to reckon with. This kid is mature beyond his years, and all he needs to do is just mature as a major league pitcher down in the minor leagues, get his innings in, and then go from there. And the other one is Justin Wilson. And not to slight anybody else. Neil has done a great job in replenishing the minor league system here with the Pirates and the organization, and doing a really heck of a job. And we've got a lot more down there, but they still need to be seasoned, and it's going to take some time to get here. But those 2 guys might have an inside track.
It'll be fun to watch them as they progress. Ray, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Pitching coach Ray Searage. Buccos and Red Sox from McKechnie through 6, tied at 4.
His first love.
tied at 4. After the game, don't touch that remote or you'll miss the Pirates post-game show. See what Clint Hurdle has to say about the game and more. It's all coming up next right here on Root Sports. How about that?
Like it.
What do you got there, Rock?
Is that an Osprey?
I believe so. Above right light. So head down toward the clubhouse, just outside the clubhouse, and Paul Alexander has a guest.
Boy, you found a pitch you liked today, didn't you?
Yeah. I was down in the count, and I was aimed middle. I left it up a little, and I just tried to throw my barrel at it, and it worked out.
Talk about playing third base, not exactly your most familiar territory.
Yeah, getting comfortable over there day by day. Been getting a lot of work in with Leva, the infield coach, and just trying to get better every day, really, and that's all I'm trying to really do right now.
You've hit at every level. The last Mohican, so to speak, would be at this level. You're having a great spring.
Thank you. I feel pretty good right now, but really when it counts during the season, so just trying to stay consistent and keep focused and show the front office what I got.
Got about 2 weeks left. What would you like to show them in those 2 weeks?
Well, just keep doing it. Baseball is about a game consistency, and it's spring training. It counts a little, but just really trying to make it hard on them, try to do my best and show them what I got.
Matt, best of luck. Keep it rolling.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you, Paul. Paul Alexander with Matt Hague at home run for Matt Hague. Came in the 3rd inning. He is 3rd of the spring. A bunch of changes for the Pirates. Evan Meek faces Jose Iglesias. And it's 3-2.
Yeah, Hague, it's amazing. The only way they can get him out is making a circus catch out there in center field. He has been impressive.
Check out Evan Meek. Last season, one he would like to forget.
Boy, I didn't realize it was so few games. Just 24 games for Evan. That whip almost at 2.
Plenty of time on the disabled list. Popped up to center fielder. The new one is Nate McLouth. So 1 away with the Meek on the hill, the 3rd pitcher to work today. Paul Alexander caught up with today's starting pitcher earlier.
Paul Alexander with today's starter, Kevin Correa. And Kevin, another one in the books as far as spring is concerned. How did it feel out there today?
Good. I felt pretty good today. Extended my pitch count a little bit. Felt strong the whole way. Gave a couple runs, but I was pretty happy with my command, I think.
He gave you some work defensively, and you handled it. You made some nice plays out there.
Yeah, I was running around a lot there at the end, but managed to make a decent play there at the end, and any help I can get myself is warranted right there.
And you helped yourself with the bat as well. Nice double.
Yeah, I finally got a ball in play this spring. I think that was my 4th at bat, and I haven't gotten one in play yet. And it was nice to get a double.
As far as what you have left between now and opening day, what would you like to refine? What would you like to see before now and then?
Just the continual work of getting my pitch count up. I think I've been efficient enough my past few outings with my pitch count, and now it's just a matter of getting your arm strong enough to go deep into a game, and I got a few left, so I should be right on pace to do that.
Kevin, thanks for the time. Best of luck. Keep it rolling.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin Correa. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you, Paul. Correa's line, 5 innings, 4 runs, 8 hits. Didn't walk a batter, struck out a man. And Nate Spears has his first at bat of the day. I have to assume that Clint Hurdle will announce the opening day starter pretty soon. Strike 3 called.
Nice looking backdoor breaking ball. Evan Meek Don't see him throw too many soft breaking pitches. We've seen more this spring. But, bending over the outside corner.
Meek worked Sunday down in Fort Myers against the Twins, a scoreless outing. This is his 6th Grapefruit League appearance. Andrew McCutchen out on the warning track. That one looked good. Past Mauro Gomez. First at bat of the day for Mauro Gomez. Taking over at first base for Adrian Gonzalez. Deep to left. Alex Presley will just watch that one bounce off the roof. The Boys and Girls Club well beyond the left field wall. 5-4 Boston.
Gomez came in swinging, doesn't get cheated. A big cut that he swung through. Another big cut that he got all of. That's just the fastball up out over the plate. And the big man Gomez knew it as soon as he hit it.
Gomez signed a minor league free agent deal this winter. Last year at AAA Gwinnett in the Braves organization, hit 24 homers. There's Dan Butler now at the plate. And this is his first at bat. Breaking ball bounced to third. Nick Evans is over there now, and the new first baseman is Jake Fox. Home run from Mauro Gomez gives Boston the lead, 5-4. Here at McKechnie Field, what a ballpark, a great place, what a great relationship it's been, the Pirates and the Bradenton community since 1969. The Pirates trail it now 5-4. It's the third inning. Take a look at the Matt Hague home run. You heard him talking to Paul Alexander. Home run off of John Lester. I know it impressed you, John.
Oh, yeah. Just about everything.
And Pedro Alvarez liked it.
Everything he's done this spring training has been impressive. You know, he can bloop it into right, and he can hit it about 50 feet beyond the wall and left. You know, here, yeah, a lot of these spring training sites set up a lot like minor league baseball stadiums. You don't often see seats in the outfield. So it's hard to tell how far it went. And they showed that replay. I saw a guy going back after that hit. So that leads me to believe it was well beyond the wall.
New pitcher, Andrew Bailey. After Tazawa went 3. John Lester started. He went 3 innings. Pirates and Red Sox here this afternoon. Bobby Valentine, what kind of a difference will he make as he returns to the bench? There had been speculation over the last several years that Valentine wanted to get back into managing. Maybe waiting for the right opportunity. This Stamford, Connecticut native just figured it was a natural fit. So he replaces the Red Sox skipper and general manager. Also was let go, Theo Epstein. Terry Francona was let go along with their GM. Francona now doing some analysis work while Epstein is now the president of the Chicago Cubs.
Well, we got the beer and chicken out of the clubhouse.
That would be the key.
Like it was the beer and chicken's fault.
Yeah.
And there's been beer and chicken in every clubhouse for hundreds of years.
Right.
It wasn't the fault of the beer and the chicken. It was the people that were eating and drinking.
Sounds to me like they're looking for excuses.
Yeah.
Eric Fryer at the plate for the Pirates. Fryer did some catching for the Bucks last year. He's 5 for 16 this spring, a .313 average. Ohio State product.
He's been swinging it pretty good, Eric Fryer. .313, huh? Had a base hit last night.
Fryer, one of 8 catchers used by the Bucks last year. This is short. 6-3 on the putout. Sign up for Root Sports Red Alerts to get text updates on your favorite local teams, exclusive promotions for Root Sports viewers, and more. Simply text alerts to 412-412. Join Root Sports Red Alerts. Message and data rates may apply. We have a lot of fun here on Root Sports. A couple of more Grapefruit League games remain, and then of course we'll have the opener for you and a full schedule. Alex Presley, his first at bat. One hopper off the chest of the first baseman. Gomez recovers and throws, and no, says the first base umpire. A little minor collision there between Presley and Bailey, and Alex Presley aboard.
Yeah, I'm sure probably Valentine holding his breath. His closer that they acquired from Oakland. A little shaken up, I think, but look at that.
Checking on Andrew Bailey. 24 saves with the A's last year.
Hot smash, and Gomez tries to tackle it. I thought they got him watching live, but there it obviously shows you that the speed of Presley reaches the bag before the foot of Bailey. Oh, that's pretty close. Now I'm not sure.
Presley will get credit for a hit. His 13th hit in 36 at bats. Came in batting .343. And now Nate McLouth's first at bat. McLouth returning to the Pirates. Batting average of .368 this spring, 7 for 19. A couple of walks, 6 strikeouts. Josh Harrison in this spot of the order had a couple of hits. 2 for 3. Andrew McCutchen, the starting center fielder, as Presley takes off, and he'll get there without a throw.
Great jump from Alex Presley, and Nate McLouth, despite being left-handed, realized it, was taking all the way. A little bit of a stumble there from Presley, but still would have made it with a throw.
His third steal of the spring.
Wow.
High fly ball to right field. And Nate McLouth, a 2-run blast. Gives the Bucks the lead again, 6-5. McLeod's first of the spring.
I'm sure Nate would love to get that swing back that he had as a Pittsburgh Pirate before being traded to Atlanta, and that's an up and in fastball, and I've always said it. Nate McLeod got to the fastball as well as anybody, and we saw it many times in a Pirates uniform, and for whatever reason, mechanics broke down. He couldn't get to that fastball in Atlanta and struggled. If you're a fastball hitter and you can't get to a fastball, you're going to struggle. It's just, there's no bones about it, and that's a good sign right there to see Nate turn that around.
Here's Jake Fox. Fox with his first at bat. .263 average. Nate McLeod signed as a free agent. So thrilled to be back in Pittsburgh. Feels like he really is back home.
Fox last year, I mean, and Jake Fox has put up some pretty decent numbers, the power numbers at least, in parts of 4 big league seasons. 20 home runs and under 500 at bats. Just the average isn't great. And, if he makes the club, it'll be for his bat, not for his glove. Speaking of his bat, I grabbed his bat today in the dugout. I was waiting to go on with Paul in the pregame and enjoying some shade, and I grabbed his bat. He uses an enormous bat.
Really?
Like at 34.5, and I think it said 34.7 ounces.
Really?
Which I've never heard of, but you don't see too many guys anymore using 34, 35 ounce bats. The length isn't a surprise.
Right.
The average is probably 34 inches, but 35 almost
a lot of
ounces is heavy. And it may not sound like a big deal. Michael Navarro's bat was in there. He used a 33-inch, 30-ounce bat. There's a huge difference between a 30-ounce bat and a 34.7-ounce bat, which I've never heard of. But I think he has his own model, whatever bat company he had. But, yeah, it was pretty big, pretty impressive.
Ball just foul. Well, Jake Fox was the talk of spring training both in Florida and Arizona last year. He was with the Orioles trying to win a job in camp, and he did. He led all major league players with 10 home runs spring training last year. He's hit 2 pinch hit home runs for the Pirates this spring. He can catch and play the corners. But it is the bat that would allow him to make this club. 3-2 on Jake Fox, former Cub prospect. A little time that we saw him with the Cubs, it felt like this guy was going to hit in the big leagues, but whether maybe he never got the opportunity to play every day, or the Cubs soured on him. They involved him in the trade to Oakland. This ball into left field. Base hit for Jake Fox.
And that would, for me, it's a guess, but I'm sure that's probably what he's longing for, an everyday opportunity. And it hasn't come yet, but I mean, he can make an argument that I could hit 25, 30. If I was playing regularly, I hit 20 sparingly in less than a full season of at bats.
Yeah, give me a full season of at bats.
But he just has to realize he has to fit into a role. It's going to be a utility role, a bench role. Maybe get some at bats due to injury or what have you. But it's certainly been pinch hitting quite a bit, and that's the thing that Clint Hurdle's evaluating right now. I mean, you want a veteran presence to take that tough at bat late in the ball game, perhaps against a tough lefty or maybe even a tough righty. 2 on, 2 out, down a run or tied late in the game. Who's that veteran?
Well, that makes you wonder then if there are 2 spots we've been talking about, and you heard Neil Huntington discuss it. It could be down to and this is just, we're speculating like fans, but we don't know inside stuff here, but it could be down to Harrison and Navarro, or Harrison or Navarro, and if that's the case, it's Harrison or Navarro and a guy like Fox.
Yeah, quite possibly, and you like to have that threat. You like to have that guy step in there in a crucial situation that's been there and done it. No knock to Josh Harrison or Navarro. There's not, or Matt Hague for that matter.
Hague too.
As great as Hague's been swinging the bat, it's a different animal when you're not playing every day. You're getting one at bat every 3 or 4 days. It's a difficult thing to do. He played every game last year and racked up a ton of at bats. Now, do you have the same timing, the same confidence if you only get 2, 3, 4 at bats a week? And that's where that's the value in a guy like Jake Fox. He's done it.
So you could be seeing, as we approach the home stretch, you could be seeing a battle between like a Fox, a veteran, and Hague, the rookie. And now a lot of concern as pitching coach Bob McClure goes out to see if Andrew Bailey is okay, along with a trainer.
They're all smiles, so obviously he's okay. Certainly you would think a guy, a closer for the A's the last few years is smart enough, if he had any kind of tweaks or injuries, that he would take himself out. He wouldn't be out there risking further injury at this point in time. You see rolled up on his back, got a little dirt on him.
Jonathan Papelbon is now with the Phillies. Here's Jordy Mercer. Mercer playing shortstop now. Pirate prospect. Mercer hitting .222 this spring, 4 hits and 18 at bats. Neil Walker in this spot of the order was 1 for 3 with an RBI single. One ball, one strike, 6-5 Pirates as Nate McLouth's home run gives the Bucks back the lead. Two and one. A minor leaguer over from Pirate City is on deck. Alex Fuselier took over in right field last inning. What a big thrill that is, John. You can attest to this, right?
Oh yeah. Huge thrill.
Over from minor league camp, you get a chance to get an at bat, even though it's spring training. For these guys that have major league aspirations and major league dreams, this is really their first true taste of it.
I remember my first taste was after a season of A-ball. Came over with Moises Alou, Carlos Garcia. I don't remember if I got in the bat or not, but just the thrill of sitting in the dugout, I remember that more than anything.
Really?
Jim Leland addressing me. Knowing who I was enough for me at that point in time.
Just to have the big league manager call your name.
Oh yeah, I'm sure somebody told him who I was. He certainly didn't know who I was.
Mercer down on strikes. Pirates have hit 2 home runs this afternoon. One to left. That was Matt Hague's 3rd inning drive. And here in the 7th inning, Nate McLouth over the right field wall, his first of the spring. The Pirates lead it 6-5. Pirates with MLB.com at bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, WP7 or BlackBerry. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Pirates.com for details. Pirates lead at 6-5. Nate McLeod with the home run. Good ball game here for this sellout crowd to view. 6,559 at McKechnie. Evan Meek will try to work the 8th inning. Facing Ryan Lavarnway, the DH, who is 1 out of 3. Sixth round pick of the Red Sox in 2008. One ball, one strike. Lavarnway, the DH today. David Ortiz will have that job during the season. Big Papi, who had 29 homers and drove in 96 last year. Ortiz did not make the trip from Fort Myers, nor did starting second baseman Dustin Pedroia. They hosted Toronto last night down in Fort Myers. Meanwhile, the Pirates last night were in Tampa against the Yankees. Tomorrow they'll take on the Rays right here at McKechnie, with Jeff Karsten scheduled to make the start. Catch all the action on Pirates.com.
Front door cutter. That last pitch, that natural cut that Evan Meek has on his fastball. Sometimes he misses with it. He threw that. They meant to throw it on the outer part of the plate, threw it inside, started off and cut across the inside corner.
And Nate McLeod can work perfectly in terms of a segue. He battles the sky, makes the catch, but Nate McLeod was mic'd up earlier and talking about this very subject, playing the outfield.
Thank you very much. Welcome back.
Teak, you played outfield.
Yes, I did. Perfectly,
Yeah.
by the way, I will mention.
For me, I think the toughest one is the one where you're both kind of coming in at an angle, and you're not sure if you can get it.
Right.
And especially with two dudes.
So come in.
Yeah, exactly. When you
like two outfielders and one infielder coming out.
Yeah, or like a kind of a soft line drive in here where you're both booking it,
Yeah.
and you're both gonna maybe have to dive for it. Yeah, you can. Yeah. What if you don't got it? I think I got it. I'll just bypass Quayle and come straight to you.
That's probably the one.
That's not a good idea. Don't bypass Quayle and go to Teak. Just.
Yeah,
and Teak was about to say, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I'm sure he hopes that Quayle doesn't find out about the potential dodging.
Talking about Bill Verdon and saying it in jest, of course.
Quayle will work you. If you don't go on the road and you have to stay back, well, I don't think he does it anymore, but he used to just make sure you got your work in. I remember all those years of spring training. I can recall one time I didn't go on a trip, and I begged for the trips after that. He worked you out, and boy, you were hurting at the end of the day.
So you think you're kind of getting off of not making a long trip, but if you stay here and you work with Bill Verdon,
it's a shorter day, but much more work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he would set you up, and you'd do your hitting, and then you'd do, for me, it was infield work, outfield work, and then, but before he'd let you go, he made you catch 10 ground balls. He basically rolled the ground balls to you, but you were the whole right side of the infield, and so he rolled the ball towards the second base bag. You had to run and get it, and then to the first base bag, you had to get it, and the ball wasn't allowed to touch the grass. If it touched the grass, you had to start over. So you're basically running 90 to 100 feet, 30, 40-yard sprints back and forth. You had to do it 10 times in a row.
Tough little play handled there by Jordy Mercer. Throws out Daniel Nava. You saw
That I just want to mention, if we got a replay of that, that's a great lesson for young kids that play infield right there with Jordy Mercer and how he handled that ground ball. Once you bobble the ball, get your hands out of the way, clear your hands, and find the ball. Watch him clear his hands, get him out of the way, pick up the ball barehanded. Don't try to grab it again with your glove. You won't have enough time. Clear the hands, find it, grab it barehanded, and fire it across the infield.
Nice little tip there. Jordy Mercer and John Wayner. Good stuff.
You know, that's textbook. A lot of guys try to panic or whatever, or swoop it up with your glove, and it just doesn't work that way. Once there's a bobble, you're going to end up picking it up with your bare hand.
Shannon Wilkerson with a base hit to left. Minor leaguers in the game for these Red Sox. Base hit to left field for him. Lars Anderson has had some big league time. Pinch hit in the 6th, stayed in the game to play left. Struck out in the inning against Joel Hanrahan.
You know, every time we're on TV down here, you notice that there's always people looking to get on the air. All the time, there's always somebody that's trying to sneak his way onto the
TV. I've never noticed that.
TV sets. Always.
I've never noticed that.
Never, ever fails.
I don't know who in the world are you talking about. I mean,
who do you think?
I don't have any idea. Who would be trying to get on the air?
Yep.
Who knows?
Yeah. Always weasel himself in front of a camera. Hey, I wonder if he realizes
the parent. Look at
his relative up there, up in the right field. You know, we saw the good shot of the bird's nest up there. I wonder if he's sharing that.
I bet you.
His living arrangement with the osprey up there.
Parrot, what do you think? Would you like to make your home up there and up there with him, Parrot?
Now that's a bird.
That's
Look at that bird.
Now that is a real bird.
Goodness gracious! Can you see the balance?
Look at the beauty.
The beauty. The
quiet grace.
Mm-hmm. And he's not hamming it up for the cameras. He's hiding from the cameras.
Runner goes, popped up. Center field, McLouth makes the catch. It's a battle. You're back, Nate. Back in a Bucko uni.
Look at that fish.
Wow.
My goodness.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Sports Pit for team news, special giveaways, and behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite teams. Join the conversation on Twitter today and tell us how you root. Pirates have a 6-5 lead going to the bottom of the 8th inning, and earlier Paul Alexander caught up with Pirates second baseman Neil Walker.
It's Paul Alexander with Pittsburgh's own Neil Walker, and boy, you're getting close. I would imagine this point in spring training, get me to April 5th somehow, some way.
Yeah, we're getting close. We're feeling good as a group. The intensity's picking up. You can feel it and you can tell, and guys are starting to lock it in focus-wise over the course of longer innings and working towards 9 innings and also working towards the opening date.
How is that double play combination coming? I know you have a good one over there, but you still need that comfort zone.
Yeah, it's good. Clint and I have worked every single day. We've usually where he is, I'm right behind him in all aspects of the day and during the game. He didn't play today, but normally we've been playing together and learning each other, and everything's been good. So it's going to be fun turning double plays with a guy like him.
Too many examples of great springs not translating into great seasons and the opposite, but while you're swinging the bat and you're swinging it well, it has to feel good. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't take, since spring training terms, you worry about your approach and how the ball's coming off your bat and, seeing the balls more than the actual hits. So, if you are consistent enough, you're going to get those hits and you get those have those good at bats. They're going to carry over to the season. So, we're getting close. Neil, thanks for your time. Best of luck. You're almost there. All right, that's Neil Walker.
All right, Paul, thanks very much. As rookie, minor leaguer, I should say, Alex Fuselier takes a strike. Talked earlier about what a thrill it is for any minor leaguer to make the short trip from Pirate City, a few miles down the road, get a chance to play in a big league spring training game. Fuselier, Louisiana native, drafted out of the University of Louisiana Lafayette in the 21st round last year. Played in 52 games for the State College Spikes, New York Penn League in the Pirates organization.
That's a huge bonus for a guy just drafted. You don't see that very often. Usually a couple of guys that have been in the minor leagues at least a couple years. And getting to face a big league reliever, Franklin Morales.
A lefty, no less.
Yeah, have fun. And so you get a taste of it and you know what it's like. And go back saying you at least made contact, the foul ball.
Fuselier, numbers last year with the Rockies and Red Sox combined. Traded over in May from Colorado. Pitched for Clint Hurdle with the Rockies a handful of years.
And not really a specialist either. You can usually tell by the games played to innings pitched. 50 games, 46 and a third innings pitched. So it's not like he's just coming in to face lefties. But right there, overpowering the young outfielder.
Morales now faces Jamaico Navarro, who's grounded out, flied to center, struck out, started in left field, now playing second base. Navarro now 8 for 32 this spring.
He was locked in early.
Yeah.
I mean, he was centering every pitch, it seemed like. Every time he swung the bat, he hit the ball well.
He has appeared in 16 of the Pirates' first 17 games. Jamaico Navarro. Clint Hurdle's theme this spring has been finish. And wants the club to carry that thought into the regular season. Finish a pitch, finish an at bat. finish a play, a game, an inning.
And with attention to detail, with smarts, with conviction. He wants to make sure guys are just doing everything the right way. There you see it. Grit happens. Finish.
Pirates players all sporting those T-shirts throughout the spring.
And pushing the envelope in terms of being aggressive on the bases. But you can be aggressive but smart. Those are the things that, as far as this team not being afforded, and that's mistakes on the bases. And when I talk about mistakes, we had a mistake earlier in the 4-run third inning. Runner rounding second too far and a ball hit right in front of him. That can't happen. That probably cost the team a run. Aggressive mistakes, trying to go to first to third, bang, bang, play at third, you're thrown out. That's okay. Trying to steal base, getting thrown out, that's okay. But you can't make the mental mistakes. You can't afford this offense. Isn't loaded with power, so it's more of a station to station, an aggressive, take advantage of your opportunities type of an offense. And so mental mistakes will certainly be frowned upon. Aggressive mistakes will be encouraged.
Another minor leaguer over from Pirate City at the plate, Taylor Lewis, who also played for the State College Spikes last year. He was a 10th round pick last season by the Pirates.
From Connecticut.
New London, Connecticut. Drafted out of the University of Maine, Orono. Also known as Maine Orono, to those who are in the know, I'm told that one of our gypsies is an alumnus.
No kidding.
Now we're being told our first fib of the year. He is not, but he's from the area, and he jumped on us right away. He has long since changed his allegiances, has Adam Elmore, from being a lifelong Red Sox fan to a big-time Bucco fan.
Well, I'm trying to think why this school came up somewhere last year. I know that this particular university, it was a discussion.
Probably Adam Elmore.
Might have been Adam Elmore, because I know the Black Bears, we were referring to their mascot. I just don't remember the specifics. Orono?
Orono. Bounce to second. Navarro is tagged out and on to first for an inning-ending double play. That does it for the Bucks. The bottom of the 8th inning, on to the 9th. Pirates lead by 1. Don't miss live music at PNC Park during this 2012 season. Boys to Men kick off the first Fan Jam concert June 9th. Then rockers Daughtry continue the fun during Fan Jam on July the 7th. Iron City Beer presents 2 explosive Sky Blast concerts featuring some belly fireworks and music from Styx on August the 11th. Lifehouse on September 29th. For more information or for tickets, visit pirates.com.
Boy, is that a shot of here? Where is that?
I didn't know that was PNC Park or McKechnie
That's
Field.
what I was thinking, and now I think we found a new place for lunch.
Yep.
Looks delish.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's where I'm going to head tomorrow.
Here you go.
Here's Juan Cruz, veteran right-hander, trying to make the club.
Pretty impressive a year ago. 3.88 ERA for Tampa Bay Rays. 5-0 record. Moved around a bit since coming up with the Chicago Cubs back in 2001.
I got very little.
This is his 7th outing of the spring. Scored upon just once.
Oh, I'll suck it up. Because you know grit happens.
If he makes the club, it'll be his 7th organization.
Juan Cruz. Pitched in some big games last year for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, you never know. He could be the Jose Veras of 2012.
Like Veras, Cruz, if he does make the club, would have to be placed on the 40-man roster. He's a non-roster invite.
Well, that bird gets around.
Boy.
He got out there in a hurry. That's kind of neat how he just took off from the booth.
Yep.
Down to the right field grandstands. Trying to show off.
Or you're playing up that.
Osprey.
Yeah, you're playing up that Osprey. He's good. I'll show you. Sean Coyle is retired. Speaking of retirement, tip of the cap to Hines Ward. Retires officially last night. 14 seasons, all with the Steelers. Franchise records and receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, MVP of a Super Bowl, and what a career on his way, no doubt, to Canton.
No question, a Hall of Famer. He was a football player. You know how they talk about in baseball, and that's a baseball player. He gets dirty. That's a well, he was a football player. And he just did everything right, and 1,000 receptions on the nose. It's remarkable.
Ryan Dent toward left. Oh, nice little play by Alex Presley.
Alex didn't get the greatest jump on this ball, but took the perfect angle and just enough length. He didn't have to get dirty, just extending out there with the tough wind. That ball was kind of hooking away from him. That's where you see a lot of those floppy dives on that type of play, you know. The guys, instead of just staying on their feet and catching it, they look to make the highlight reel.
This one will split McLeod and Presley. A double for Nate Spears. Mauro Gomez. Homered his last at bat against Devin Meek. Meek went 2 innings. Hanrahan a scoreless 6th. Kevin Correa started. If Juan Cruz can get the last out, Pirates will have won their 7th of 17 games this spring.
Gomez. A couple of big hacks off Evan Meek, connecting on the second of those.
.33-year-old Juan Cruz. Top foul, 1-2. Cruz big league time with the Cubs, Braves, A's, Diamondbacks, Royals, and last year with Tampa Bay. 3.88 ERA with the Rays. Two and two. Bucks with a dozen hits. A 2-hit day for Josh Harrison. A couple of hits for Matt Hague, including a home run.
Just getting a piece off the end of the bat. Good breaking ball there from Cruz. Gomez protecting. And finishes it a little bit lower, gets it down a little bit further. Might get him out in front.
Two and two on Mauro Gomez. Rolled foul. Eric Fryer going to go out and talk with Juan Cruz. Cruz pitched on Sunday, a scoreless inning against the Twins in Fort Myers. Jose Arenas was the only non-roster player to be added to the opening day roster last year. Cruz certainly still in the mix. Fly ball to right. And the catch is made by Fuselier. The Pirates pick up their 7th win of the spring.
Yeah, pretty good job. I think Correa threw well. He looked pretty sharp, banging out 12 hits. Nice to see the offense. The big 2-run blow by McLeod. And it's the same guys that have been hitting it all year, too. It's nice to see Harrison, McCutchen, Hague. Just fun to watch. But, a pretty clean game for the most part.
Offense was back today. A dozen hits, a couple of home runs. Pirates win it 6-5. Thanks for being with us. Stay tuned. Post game is coming up next.